Okay, this time I'm doing something a little different. This is a review slash gameplay video for the greatest heavyweights on the Sega Genesis. And the reason why I'm showing you this game is because I think it's one of those games that is overlooked by people. I think one of those reasons is because of its learning curve. You actually have to learn how to play this game before you play it. But let me give you a little history about this game. Now, this game was made by the same makers of Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing, but what they did here was they actually fixed a lot of the problems that Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing had. One of the problems it had was that it was a really slow-paced game, and this game actually picked up the pace, and it also gave you more control over your character, wherein Real Deal Boxing, sometimes you just completely lost control over your character. The other thing is that not only do you get to pick Holyfield, you get to pick all these other great heavyweights of different times. I mean, they have Joe Louis, they have Rocky Marciano, Jack Dempsey, Floyd Patterson, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. They even have Larry Holmes in this game. But there are two fighters that should have been in this game, which would have made this game gold if they would have had Mike Tyson and George Foreman. Now, I understand why Mike Tyson's not in this game. It was either two things at the time. It was either he was just too expensive, or he was in jail, which I think that's the case for why he's not in this game. But I just don't understand why George Foreman's not in this game. I think this was even before he started making grills, so he could have used the money. Well, not that this game made that much money anyway, because I think this game was overlooked by people. So there you go. I'm making Tyson right now. Okay, one thing I wanted to mention was that you got to actually change the body type here. Which actually changes the whole game, because now, like for example, if you pick a small guy, you're gonna have to use different techniques, and you're gonna fight differently than if you have a medium body or if you have a large body. And it also makes a difference if you're fighting different body types. So it changes everything in the game, and it makes it a whole lot better. Now, I'm gonna pick a small body type. Because that's how Mike Tyson was. He was a small guy. So I'm going to pick a small body type for Mike Tyson. And I'm going to put his power and his speed real high, because that's how Mike Tyson used to be. And he sort of lacked in stamina in most of his career. There was one part of his career where he had everything. He even had a lot of stamina. But for most part of his career, he lacked in stamina. So I'm going to go ahead and make Mike Tyson here. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into my first fight. I'm going to go ahead and fight Clayton West, because he's ranked lower. And now in the beginning it really doesn't matter. They're all going to be easy. And the purse doesn't matter anyway. Anybody you fight in your first fight, you're going to make $5,500. But later down the line, when you fight lower ranking guys, you actually make more money. So it actually rewards you for fighting lower ranked guys. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just quickly get rid of this guy. And there you go. That should be it. He might get up one time. Now, these guys are going to be easy in the beginning. It doesn't start getting hard until about your 16th or your 17th fight is when it starts getting kind of difficult. Like, they're going to be a lot more difficult. You're going to have to put combinations together. And one thing I forgot to mention is you're going to want to get yourself, you're going to want to get yourself a 6-button controller. A 3-button controller, you can beat it with a 3-button controller, and I have done it before. But it's going to be a lot harder to pull off combinations and stuff, because you're going to have to press 2 buttons to throw the hooks, and that's going to be a problem. Like, you're going to have to press A and B to throw a left hook, and you're going to have to push B and C to throw a right hook, and that's going to be a problem when you're doing combination. Now that's my favorite part right there, when they show you knocking the guy out on the newspaper, which is a nice touch to the game. It actually makes you feel like you're doing something. Now, I used to play this game all the time back then, and how I used to play it was I usually would rent this game. Now, at the time, back then I used to rent games at this one video store. It was called Video Mart. It was like my favorite place to go. And the problem was I would always rent on the weekend, and so that's when everybody else would rent too. So I would always get there kind of late, and basically everything was out. Like, most of the time I went there, only if I was lucky I would get to rent games that I saw that were new and that I wanted to play. But for some reason, this game was always there. Nobody ever played this game for some reason. I think it's the learning curve. You really have to be into boxing, and you also have to like difficult games, because this game is difficult. So yeah, this was my go-to game. Every time I didn't find a game, I would play this game, and I had a lot of fun with this game, and I still do actually. Every time I play it, it's always different, and that's the great thing about this game, is they did a great job programming this game and making you feel like you are actually fighting a real fighter. I mean, they behave like real fighters. When they're in trouble, they'll go defensive. And even the patterns change, which I know in some games, when patterns change, it actually is annoying and it sucks. But in this game, it actually works real well, and I think it's needed in a game like this, because it's a boxing game. It's supposed to feel organic. So there you go. I'm putting this guy out. Now, if you notice in the bottom there are two bars. There's one for the body and one for the head. That doesn't matter now, because right now all the guys you fight are easy. But later on, that's going to matter, and you're going to have to focus on one area. Right now the guy is cut, if you can see it. Which is another cool touch to the game. You can actually make the guy bleed from both eyes, their nose, and their mouth, which is cool. But yeah, the whole thing about the bar for the body and the head, you're going to have to pay attention to one area, and you're going to have to see which area he's most weakest in. And during the later rounds, that's all going to matter, because if you get that bar all the way to the bottom, every punch you hit him with is going to hurt him big time, and you're going to be able to put him out. And the whole thing about it is you don't want to work on the head and the body at the same time, because what happens is every time the round ends, it regenerates. So you're going to want to work on one area so that you make sure that you make that thing go down. Well, there you go. I'm on London Times now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work more on my stamina, because that's all going to matter. It also matters if you don't have too much stamina and you're getting hit in the body, you're going to have problems. Meaning the bar for your body is going to go down lower, a lot quicker. Now, should I fight Lou or Red Williams? I'll fight Red.
In this corner, player one.
So yeah, this game, it just does a great job of like every fighter you fight is going to be different. They're all going to fight differently. And it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to and the great thing about it is, like, let's say if you beat a guy, and like let's say you beat him in the fourth round, or the fourth round, and you think, okay, there's no way I can beat this guy in the third or second round. There is a way. Now, like, I remember I thought I can only beat Ali in the 10th round. I was like, this is the only way you can beat this guy. And then later on finding out that you can actually beat him in the 8th, and then later on finding out you can beat him in the 6th, then later on finding out you can beat him in the 4th, and then later on finding out you can beat him in the 2nd, so it's all a matter of technique, it's a matter of your skill level, and how much you understand the game. There you go. That's it. That should put him out.